Hey, welcome back to Score on Business. I'm Pete Hendricks. Remember, check out scorenashville.org. Let's get to something that's helpful. So next we have Stephanie Huffman. And Stephanie is with Epiphany Creative Services, and you're a marketing company in ways, marketing, website, and that kind of thing.
Social media, yeah.
Social media.
We're more of a boutique. We focus on the small business, the startup, the entrepreneur, but we also
Right.
have another vertical where we work with authors.
Yes.
And the idea is that you want to come alongside of them and meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily a high-end client.
Yeah.
They're starting out, and you don't want to punish that. You want to work
Right.
within that, and we try to do that.
Oh, awesome. And I like the way that you've picked what the specialization
Yes.
is, and that's where you focus. I've just done that myself. Okay, so
It's very freeing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Small businesses and authors and other organizations do not have a lot of money to spend on
That's
the
right.
marketing efforts. So when you work with these folks, how do you begin the conversation about the money?
Well, we first assure them that we're not going to give them a boilerplate and just a slap them a monthly fee. We're going to
Right.
work with them. If they
Yeah.
want one of those packages, we can supply that. But
Yeah.
we're willing to listen. And I think the first
Yeah.
thing that you do is you say, okay, are there any deadlines we have to meet? Let's look at that. Then what's your budget? Most small businesses don't have a line item
Yeah.
for a marketing staff.
Right.
So when we come in, we're that line item.
Yeah.
We're their marketing team.
Right.
And we try to keep it low budget. But the point is to realize that everyone has a product, a passion, or a project that they have to get the word out about, and there's a message.
I am really impressed that you talked about listening, because I have I've seen others in your field that are not so big on that. So I really think that's powerful. Tell us about the honing the message.
Right.
What that means.
This is probably not a great example, but everyone is familiar with a Starbucks billboard.
Yes.
And when you see a Starbucks billboard, you know that they sell coffee because they've done a great job branding, and they know who their customer is.
Right.
So if I put a Starbucks store in town, there are certain areas of town that store will go in.
Right.
There's certain areas of town that it won't go in. And they know their client, they know what to say and what not to say. There's a delightful billboard of McDonald's that says $4 is too much.
Yeah.
And so that would be a message to a different client that says, you don't want to pay $4, come to us. So you find who your client is, you know who you are and what you sell, and then you speak to that client and you hone that message. Let them know who you are and what you do.
Yes, so that it's a consistent message to a specific audience.
Absolutely.
There's no need, if you're going to be trying to sell to baby boomers, there's no need putting it on channels where the younger, the teens are watching.
Correct. Where are you going to put that billboard?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with your brand. Who is the person that buys your brand? What language do they speak? What style are they? How do they dress? Where do they live? What do they do? How do they think? And you speak to them.
I am starting to incorporate the actual demographics into who most of the people, most of our customers are baby boomers, and so that's right in line with what you're saying. Tell us about what do you mean by the core client?
Well, a core client may not be what a lot of people think. A core client just isn't the client that keeps your lights on. When people first go into business, they take anyone that comes along. And they call them their core client. Well, it's not. The core client is the person that matches you at the core.
Right.
Your service, your brand, your personality, your style. You want the client that matches that, because that's the person you will serve best. That's the person that will be happiest with you. And if it's not a cultural fit, if it's not a good fit, that's not going to be a great client. And so you want to go out looking for your core client and bring them in.
Yeah, not to say you don't have to pay the bills in the beginning.
Your dream client. The client that fits you. May not be the person you think it is. The person that fits you may not be who you think. So we drill down, we ask a bunch of questions, we have discovery meetings, whiteboard, writing, all kinds of things.
That makes so much sense to me. And it's like match where you know, where it's a good match.
It's a good match.
Where it lines up with your strengths, where it lines up with your, you know, your communication style.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Now, how do you help folks reach and find that core client?
Yeah, we take a look at their past clients, we lay them all out.
Okay.
We take a look at their present clients, we lay them all out, and we take a look at their prospective clients. And we say, which of these matched you or match you? And that's who you go after. Maybe you go back after this past client and you really keep this present client, and then you know who to target for this prospective client. You don't want, in the beginning, we're just a little spastic and a little bit random. But as you grow up and as you get a little bit stronger and bigger, you've got to focus on that core client, that dream client, the one that matches you to the core. Yeah.
That really makes a lot of sense to me. And then how do you market to the core client?
Well, it's a challenge, and you have to ask a lot of questions. Again, you have to drill down. But for Epiphany Creative Services, we focus on an internet marketing presence. We really focus on your website, your blog, your email, your e-newsletter, Google Key AdWords campaigns and accounts, social media, and you make sure that the brand and the message is harmonized and looks the same on every single channel. You make sure the message is the same on every single area, and that you know who it's going to. Well, how do you know? Metrics. We do a lot of metrics, a lot of reporting, a lot of looking at statistics. Every week we go over that with clients. Let's see how we did. What do we need to tweak? Okay, this isn't reaching the person we thought. We have one client who, his core client is someone who Googles Apple patent. And just for fun, in Google AdWords, you pay per word. That word was $13 a click. A click. But he knew that's who I want. So we took a short period of time, because obviously he can't afford that a lot, and we focused in on finding that person who Googles Apple patent. Well, over time we had more strategy with him, and we were able to grow his website visits 50% in 6 months.
That's awesome.
But you do have to be always looking at metrics and working with a strategy, or you're not going to know. You
know, one thing that you said it, and I knew what you mean, but I think is important with the pay-per-click and the AdWords. You said we set up a short amount of time because you can go broke paying for those things. So you have to say to the client, where do we need to start first? Your website doesn't even exist. Well, why don't we start there? You say to the next client, you're doing good on the website, let's go to the blog. You say to the next client, where's your email list? Which your email is your new Rolodex. So if you don't have an email and an e-newsletter and sending out your blog, you're missing out. That's the new Rolodex for you. And if you don't have your social media set up, well, then maybe we start there. So we look at where they're at. We look at the budget. We look at any timeline factors. I got to do a trade show. I've got to be ready for the holidays, and we back in from those. What needs to happen right now? How much is it going to cost, and what can you do? Okay. What are some of the talk about LinkedIn for a moment. That's a good one. Tell us about what entrepreneurs and small businesses can do there.
People don't realize that LinkedIn is the Facebook for the business crowd. It really is. And you know, people check it in the morning and they check it at night. It's kind of your online resume. But a lot of people don't realize you can advertise on LinkedIn. It will cost you. Getting metrics from LinkedIn is really tricky, and you probably have to pay for those, which is worth it to some people. A lot of people don't realize they can have not only their LinkedIn personal profile, but a LinkedIn business page, and you want to do that. And we do that for people. We say, well, you know what, let's create for you a LinkedIn business page, and we create those. And then we tie them to, and then we set them up so they can post to all that. So.
And I don't know if this is, I have heard that a good thing to do is kind of, you put things on the blog on your website, and then kind of from there feed it out to Twitter, out to LinkedIn.
Correct.
Is that?
There's a formula. Your blog has to live somewhere. You want it to live on your website.
Yes.
But then it just lives there. You've got to get the word out.
Right.
Right? You got to get your message out to your
Okay.
core client. So you create an email list, and you get Emma or MailChimp or Constant Contact or Infusionsoft.
We're getting ready to have to end, but go, a couple of more seconds here.
Well, and you put that blog into that email and you send it out.
Yeah.
And then you post it to your social media, and you've done the whole
Right.
formula.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being
You're
here
welcome.
today, and I appreciate you
fun.
coming back. You shared great information last time.
Well, thank you.
And okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching, and this will be it for this week. Remember, scorenashville.org. Thanks.